I have an audio clip that's 3 minutes long that is very, very fascinating. And I'm going to play this audio clip. It's never been played before anywhere. I'm going to play this for you because there is a stunning news story at Breitbart where Senator Sessions and his staff point out that fully 98% of individuals deported from the United States last year were either criminals, apprehended while illegally crossing the border, or had been previously deported. So in other words, they're not deporting anybody unless they're criminals, they've been previously deported, or they turn them away at the border. Once they get into the interior of the United States, the overwhelming majority of them are not removed. This is a huge story, which is being completely ignored, except by me. Now, I want to give this some context. A couple of times in the past, I've read to you a transcript of a short speech that was given by former liberal Democrat governor of Colorado, Dick Lamm, a liberal Democrat. And at this particular event, he was introduced by Victor Davis Hanson, who has written a magnificent book. It's written several years ago, actually, called Mexifornia. And the title, gives away the substance of the book. But before I get into the specifics of what Obama is doing to this country, I want you to hear not me reading what Dick Lamm said in October 2003, but I want you to hear what Dick Lamm himself said. I really want you to listen to this. Turn up the volume, and here you have a former governor who really, really gets it. Again, a liberal Democrat. And he calls it my plan to destroy America. My plan to destroy America. And a hat tip to our partners at FAIR who provided this to me, and this has never been played before. Cut one, go.
I would like to share with you my plan to destroy America. If you think, and some do, that America is too smug, too rich, too self-satisfied, not diverse enough, too white bread, I have this plan. Toynbee, said that all great nations rise and they all fall. And he said, and the autopsy of history is all great nations commit suicide. So here's my plan, 8 parts. Number 1, I'd make it a bilingual, bicultural country. History shows us that no bilingual, bicultural country lives at peace with itself. There's not one, I believe, that doesn't exist with an incredible amount of tension and conflict, if not civil war. My second part of my plan would be to invent something called multiculturalism. This would be 2 parts. Number 1, I would say that all cultures are created equal. It would make no difference and make it impossible to talk about such things as culture. And the second one is that I would really try very hard to make people continue their cultural identity. I would replace the melting pot with the salad bowl. My third part of my plan would be to make the fastest growing demographic group in that country the least educated. I would add a second underclass to the first underclass, unassimilated, undereducated, antagonistic, and then I'd have 50% of them drop out of school, not graduate from high school. The fourth part of my plan would be to get the big foundations to fund, and big business to fund these efforts with lots of money. I would invest in ethnic identity and victimology. I would get them to think about their lack of success was only the fault of the majority. I would start a grievance industry. The fifth part of my plan is I would develop dual citizenship. I would promise people actually divided loyalties, allow them to vote for both Vicente Fox and George Bush. The sixth part, and this is important, I would place all of these subjects off limits. I would make it taboo to talk about, actually, or criticize this whole thing. I would make it come up with a word like heretic used to be 200 years ago. Let's say we'd call it racist. And I would try to accuse anybody of this that would object to my ideas. My seventh part, then, I would make it impossible to enforce our immigration laws. I would develop a mantra, let's call it this, that because immigration has been good in the past for America, it will continue to be good in the future. My eighth and last part, and it's important, is I would censor this book. This man is dangerous. he's on to my plan. Don't read this book.
And he's pointing to our friend Victor Davis Hanson in his book, Mexifornia, where he lays out the case. This is 10 and a half years ago, where he gave this speech. And he was right on, wasn't he?